Welcome back to McCann Dogs. I'm Instructor Carol, and in this video, I'm going to review the new GPS collar from Tractive. Before you watch this video, just so you know, this is based on a previous video where I actually lost the Burke and had to find him. Check out this video right here to see the device in action, me actually tracking my dog. This isn't a sponsored video. They did send us the tracker so that we could test it. They gave us 4 months of usage on it and asked us to try it out. I want to talk about the ruggedness of the device because it needs to last. And if my pet is lost and on the run or getting into tight spaces, I need to know, maybe going through water, I need to know that it's going to last through that. So I've had this one for about 4 months on the Burke. He's a pretty active dog. He goes into narrow spots. He's been in and out of water several times. He's been jumping, climbing. We've been doing disc, so lots of flying around and jumping, rolling. So the device has stood up to all that. Now, again, I'm a little biased because I have units that are 4 or 5 years that have stood up to that for that long. So again, I'm saying probably this one would be similar, and the last 4 months, that's what I've seen. Along with the device, the clip's important because if I have the most rugged device in the world, if he gets lost and he's running through the bush and the unit falls off, it's pretty useless to me. So I need to know it's a good clip. This one appears to be over the 4 months. It's never come off. I've never had a case where it's even close to come off or unattached with the rubber. It's also very convenient. It's easy to put on and take off. I don't need a combined collar, just the unit, and I can fit it on any collar I have. The app itself was pretty easy to use. I was using it on my iPhone XR, if anybody cares about which phone I had. I've also used it on my iPad. The look's good. It was pretty easy to use, even though I wasn't totally familiar with it. Little different every once in a while checking when you first get the app and actually trying to find your dog. So I got a little more used to how to find things and what functions it gave. I found a couple of cool functions that were useful. The speed itself let me know he was on the move. In this case, that Ken had him in a car. But even when I was narrowing down, it was nice to know he was stationary as opposed to was he still moving. That made a big deal. The other thing was the augmented reality, the AR. In this zone, when I hold my camera up, it tells me the Burke is to the right. So I'm going to keep this on for a little bit and see if he's where I think I am. I think I'm going to be making a left turn up here. And then we'll see if that changes around at all. So that was a pretty useful function, especially if I was in an area I didn't know at all. One thing that did happen, when I hit live, it circled blue, showed me it was moving into live mode, but then didn't. And then I had to hit it again. No big deal in the span of things. When I was playing in the field outside of McCann's, oh, no big deal. Okay, I'm just gonna hit it again, because that was happening pretty repeatedly for a while, not always. If I was actually stressed because I couldn't find my dog, and in a little bit of a panic, that might have been a bigger deal. But for me, I'd seen, okay, just hit it again, and I was into live mode, and it certainly let me find the Burke. Accuracy is also pretty important with the device. Great that it's reliable, but I need to be able to say that it's actually going to find my dog. Tractive says that the device is accurate to about 25.5 feet, and that's based on ideal conditions. So not in dense forest, not in steel buildings, that type of thing. Now, when I was hunting the Burke, it got me to inside about 80 feet. Thank you, Berkey. Inside about 80 feet. And that, just put it in perspective, that would be less than the distance from home plate to first base. What I did like about the unit is when I was about 250 feet away, I had a sense, I knew exactly where he was. Now, it was pretty dense bush that he was hidden in there, so obviously I can't see him. There were 2 paths leading, but my peace of mind was, I know he's in there. Now it's just, I don't want to do too much climbing through this dense bush, fighting my way through. So which path is going to get me closest to his location? But that sense of confidence, if you've lost your dog, you're in a panic, you know he's here. I also knew at that point he was still, because the app is telling me he's not in motion. I can see speed, I can see his path. I did see that there was a little bit of circling around there, but I know he's still, which is very common with lost dogs. They hunker down. But if he was still on the run, I would know where approximately he was, even at 250 feet away, and know which way he was headed. One thing that's obviously important is the cost of the device and the value of the device for what you're getting. The cost of the unit itself is about $55 US. in addition to that, you do need a plan. So they have a basic plans, they have premium plans. You can buy them by month, by year. So really, that's a personal decision that people want. Now, one big difference between the basic and the premium is whether or not you want multiple countries. Tractive says it works in 33. I need it to work throughout North America, so both in Canada and the United States, which means I need a premium plan. Now, when I looked at the value of those plans, a lot of times advertisers talk about this product costs you less than it costs you to buy a coffee a day. Well, Tractive for me certainly does cost me less than a coffee per day, even with the premium plan. And trust me, I pay a lot on coffee, so if it's less than one coffee per day, it's way less than my coffee bill at the end of the week. Size and look can be important depending on your needs. Some of you may have collars that you want it to match, or you don't want it to be obvious. Size, especially if you have a smaller dog, is important. I had a little 9-pound Jack Russell, so obviously I don't want a very large collar on a smaller dog. Look-wise, I was pretty pleased with it. It's pretty sleek, it's not super obvious, so I was pretty happy with the look. I like the fact that I can put it on my own collar rather than one integral unit. You can also, although I didn't, but you can buy sleeves for the devices. There's a midnight blue one, so if you wanted a different color or you wanted it dark instead of white, you can do that. There's also one that's glow in the dark, which might help you, again, find your dog or even be useful in your own backyard. One function that I had never considered important that I got a little new perspective on looking for the Burke was the family or friend sharing. So I can open any individual tracker and I can share it to a specific person. I could share it for a day, I could share it for a week, I can share it permanently. And I always thought, why would I want to share that? But I tracked the Burke down and I've got him, 80 feet away and it's really dense bush, or maybe it's not optimum conditions and I can't get that accuracy quite that close, but I know where he is. I can now share that to other people that are coming out. They can be seeing exactly what I'm seeing when we're looking for our dog. The other thing is, what if my cell phone doesn't have good service? The Burke's collar may be getting great satellite information, so I can get great accuracy, but my cell phone doesn't have good service to be able to track. I can now have someone else at a remote location pull up that app and track, and maybe I can get the odd text message. It's still going to help me. I can still have someone looking where he is. When I was hunting for the Burke, if you watch that video, you'll see I did turn on the light and sound. You know what? I think I'm gonna turn on light and I'm gonna turn on sound, and we'll see whether they help me pinpoint the Burke faster.
Carol just alerted. There's a sound coming out of this thing.
The sound is so quiet, and the light's not huge. You can see that I can, if it was completely dark, you might pick up the light if the dog was moving. It's really not so much to find the dog, although it might be of help. But if you did misplace the unit in your house, or it did fall off and you're looking for the unit, you can play that sound, you can turn on the light. Again, just a little extra feature, not bang for buck, but doesn't hurt. One part of the tracker I really haven't used, so I can't talk to you about, is the whole fitness component. So it allows you to track your, how far your dog moves, what sort of exercise they're getting. It allows you to earn badges. It allows you to compare with others. So they'll show your rating. Your dog's more active than anyone in North America, any other dog. For me, I didn't really think that would be too useful, but I'd love to hear it. If you've used that side, that fitness side, how do you use it? And what do you find beneficial about it? And how does it work? Throw it into the comments. Love to hear about it. We've only had this collar for 4 months and really haven't had any interaction after Tractive sent it. Haven't had any problems that we've had to contact customer service. However, I have dealt with customer service with my previous trackers, and they were great. Very quickly, they sent me a replacement product, and I was up and running. So my personal experience is their customer service has been excellent. Have you used this device? If you have, I'd love to hear about your experiences. Or are there other collars you'd like us to review? If so, put it in the comment section below. On that note, I'm Carol. This is the Burke. Happy training.